Don't try to look hot and confused. Just look confused.
Hi gang. Actually, we decided we were gonna call you guys primitas. So, hi primitas. Today we are gonna be having a little comfort fireside chat moment, talking just about girl problems. Specifically, today PCOS. I'm Braylon. I'm 17, rising senior, and I go to Future Ridge High School.
So my name is Kaylin. I am 17, also rising senior, and I go to McEachern High School.
And I'm Yvonne, and I'm also 17, and I'm also rising senior, and I go to Alexander High School.
Overview, basically, of what PCOS is. It stands for Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome. Specifically here, what we want to talk about is how it is very prominent in women of color, but also misdiagnosed most of the time.
Yeah, we also kind of want to give y'all a little one-on-one chat about like our personal experiences with like PCOS and period problems, and just kind of give a little like more personal insight on it, not just like what's written in the textbooks.
Okay, basically, in minorities, there are some more like severe symptoms. For Black women with PCOS, they have a higher risk factors for heart disease, diabetes, and stroke compared to white women. Which that was like determined in I think it was a study. I don't know. I found it out. PCOS affects women of color more frequently and more severely than white women. God knows why, but
I raise you this. Like, one of the causes of PCOS and symptoms is like severe obesity. And if you guys know,
we're a little big.
We all do. We're a little big. We're a little big. Okay. You know, in those minority groups, especially like in African Americans, obesity and things like that, heart disease and all those things, they all go hand in hand.
Also with Hispanics.
Yes, Hispanics
and
too.
Latin American countries.
Yeah, all of those like minority groups, like it is kind of like that. There's a reason that there's a correlation there.
Yeah. Also, PCOS goes very overlooked because doctors just don't want to listen to the symptoms. Like in stuff that I read, it's very much telling like women like, oh, if you think you have symptoms, bombard like your doctor about, like tell your doctor about it.
Also has a term called healthcare gaslighting.
JK.
The little official one.
I mean, mine was kind of figured out because of like they thought I was diabetic because I was looking kind of big, and like I would get like dizzy spells. All like took me to an endocrinologist, and then that's where they tested my blood, and that's where they found out like, oh, your period's up, and like I would miss a bunch of months, like, or with the months I would get it, it would be like heavy, like where I would get up and it's like, sorry, you can cut that out. But yeah, it's like, and it's like that's how I ended up finding it out. It wasn't like direct, like, oh, I have this and that, I think I have this. Like mine was like a series of events that led to me being diagnosed.
Yeah.
And I don't actually have cysts.
Yeah.
But they told me that there's a chance that they can form like over time. So
I have been on birth control for my period since I was in 7th grade, and also experiencing like irregular periods. So I'm talking like 2 periods every month for a year. So I had 24 last year instead of 12. It's same things. Like it's just a lot going on. But yeah, like all that stuff doesn't really get talked about. And I mean, I'm not sure if any of you guys watching are like maybe uncomfortable with us talking about it, but I feel like that's something that needs to be broken, the discomfort when it comes to talking about.
Because everybody has it. Females.
All
females have it. It's a thing that, you know, men will have to get used to because you're probably going to be living with a female.
Literally. Not.
Unless you're like... Sorry.
Regular periods, either having too many or very few.
That's a big difference because you had too many and I had too few.
Yeah.
But I also got put on birth control, and that was a thing that very much helped.
This is facial hair, and this is caused by high levels of something called androgen.
That kind of leads into something that I had seen. Okay, but like I ended up researching and seeing that like Latina women with PCOS are more likely to report hirsutism. I definitely jacked that up, but it's like basically excess hair growth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like Latina women also experience like high blood sugar, high blood pressure, and insulin resistance than non-Latina women with PCOS. And it's also like Latinas are more at higher risk for PCOS in the first place.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but basically, like, women with PCOS have a high prevalence of metabolic syndrome and type 2 diabetes, but Blacks and Hispanics have a high morbidity and mortality rate due to cardiovascular disease and diabetes in the general population of those races. It really is how it is.
It is what it is. It goes into how, like, a lot of these problems are systematic, because it's not just a problem within, like, healthcare, but it's also a problem in, like, systematically creating health problems for these minority groups that just lead into one over the other. And that's
Many women feel like they have an invisible illness. And get misdiagnosed due to the difficulty of some doctors' criteria, which doesn't actually fit what PCOS is. But ever since, diagnosis for PCOS has actually improved by using the Rotterdam criteria. And this criteria established that a woman might have the disorder if she experienced 2 out of the 3 major symptoms, which are polycystic ovaries, high androgen levels, and irregular menstrual cycles. One thing about PCOS is that it can lead to serious long-term health conditions.
It goes back to, like, the racial thing and, like, how it, like, PCOS, how it really does affect, like, other races and ethnicities more than the white population. Like, Hispanic women with PCOS have the most severe phenotype, both in terms of hyperandrogenism and metabolic criteria, and non-Hispanic Black women, they have it milder than Hispanics, and in some respects non-Hispanic white women as well. The African Americans and Mexican Americans have greater hyperinsulinemia, which is basically having too much insulin in the blood than what is considered healthy.
Yes.
Yeah, and then they also have a greater insulin resistance as well. The population, the high prevalence of metabolic syndrome in Hispanics may be due to high proportion of abnormal systolic BP and fasting glucose. Don't know what that means, but basically just a bunch of things that it really is that our health contributes a good amount to PCOS, and stuff from PCOS contributes a lot to that as well.
Right, and I don't think PCOS is something that you're born with. I think it's something that develops over time. So once again, all those things that are like...
Yeah, is it genetic or hereditary?
I don't know if it's hereditary. I think it's genetic.
It could,
it's not in the sense that, like, if your mother gets it, you will get it. Your kid will get it. Like, it's not a will, but it's in the gene pool. And that is something that non-Black Hispanics and Hispanics carry. And, like, go get tested. Go get tested.
Yeah, because it's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
A reason why it could lead to obesity is because hormones control your cravings. You might have cravings. You might get an eating disorder from that. Like, there's a bunch of things that PCOS, if you overlook it and you don't control it in any way that you can, it could lead to many other things.
Yeah.
Related to what Yvonne said, it is estimated that up to 75% of women with PCOS do not receive a diagnosis for their condition. So we advise everyone, go get tested.
Go get tested, bro. Don't even go in there thinking, I have it. Because you don't know. Like we said, it's not hereditary. It's most likely in your gene pool. But, you know, we've learned in Next Gen that not all genes are expressed. You know, there could be a reason why you don't have it. You don't show the symptoms or something like that. I mentioned not only healthcare gaslighting leads to that problem, but also the disparities and, like, what people have available to them. Not everyone can get a lab from their doctor and go to Quest to get their blood drawn. Not everyone can go have an ultrasound and pay however much that is.
I was like, because I have insurance, because I'm...
Insurance doesn't mean you're...
But yeah, so that's why it was an easy way for me to get it. But if it's not easy, try to find places that will. Because there are, like, low-income clinics. There are places that will help you. You just have to put yourself to work for it.
According to Medical News Today, in the U.S. alone, polycystic ovary syndrome affects 1 in 10 women.
That's a lot of women.
Oh, that's actually...
We have to bring awareness to our own communities.
Yeah.
For people who don't know what's going on with their bodies.
For sitting here with us.
Yes, thank you for listening, Primita. Thank you, Primita.
Thanks. Oh, thanks to Dr. Allen.
Yes,
she's the best.
You're the GOAT.
Guy, like, love Dr. Allen. She eats.